So I am joined by Mickey Thomas, of course, Jefferson Starship. Tell me about We Built This City, because, you know, it was a #1 hit.
Yeah.
But it was the beginning of something good and maybe not so good.
We built this city, first of all, again, we were reinventing ourselves with the Knee Deep in the Hoopla album when we did Built This City. And I just thought that song was a very interesting, sort of quirky, you know, eclectic little song that was really interesting to me, but I never heard it as a single.
Yeah.
Honestly. I thought that Sarah would be the first single.
There's a DJ part.
Yeah.
And he does a City by the Bay, blah, blah, blah. And then radio stations were taking it and doing their own version.
Putting the DJ part in was our idea.
Mm-hmm.
We just thought it was just, again, sort of a quirky element to the song. And we had a really good friend, he's still a good friend, a guy named Les Garland, who was famous in San Francisco radio and later went on to be one of the founders of MTV. So, and MTV, he was working with MTV then, and he just happened to be in the studio that day. And there was that section in the song where it wasn't really a solo, but it was just kind of a musical passage, and there wasn't anything going on there. And we said, Les, why don't you just go out there and do a DJ voice? And we thought, okay, that's cool. Now then, the afterthought was that after the song was decided that it was going to be released as a single, as the lead single for the album, and it's starting to really get some interest at radio. It's kind of skyrocketing up the charts. Well, then Starship manager Bill Thompson, at that point in time, he said, hey, why don't we put out a version where we take out Les, just leave that passage blank, and then every city can fill in their own personalized DJ thing.
Yeah.
And we thought, yeah.
And it became huge.
Yeah, and it worked. So that was a management decision on that one.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 names, and you tell me what you think of them. Okay? Grace Slick.
Grace Slick, mesmerizing, extremely talented, self-deprecating, never fully appreciating her own talent, I don't think. Got out too soon.
Yeah.
I'd like to see her do a lot more work.
She's went to the artistic art thing.
And I respect her choices, and always stimulating mentally to be around Grace, to be associated with Grace. I cherish the time we had together.
Marty Ballin.
Marty Ballin, who I don't know very well, you know, because we never actually were in the band together. You know, we never performed at the same time, but also, you know, a very eclectic individual. Very artsy, very underappreciated, I think. You know, I mean, Marty, to me, when I think about Marty in the '60s, you know, he was really one of the guys that was really on the forefront in the advent of everything that was going on in the '60s, and a guy who's been under the radar for too long.
Yeah.
And like I said, very underappreciated. Marty Ballin should be far more of a household name than he is.
What about Paul Kantner? What do you have to say about Paul?
Paul Kantner, challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul loves chaos. And if there's no chaos going on, he'll create some. And that's not always a bad thing, because a lot of good creativity comes out of chaos and conflict. And God knows he was a proponent of conflict.
So there you go, Mickey Thomas, Starship. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
Thanks again for having me.
Yeah, thank
you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.